I have made several advanced guides for so many characters on Withering Waves, and Pridewin has been an important resource for me over the past few months because it's hard when I always have to log in into the game to take a look at the information in a character's kit so that I don't give a wrong information while I'm scripting my videos. However, I saw something these past few days on the review section of Pridewin's website while scripting Zhezhi's video, which says, and I quote, "She is not quickswap friendly in the slightest due to the nature of her kit and rotations wanting her to stay either entirely on or off field," which is not entirely true. Now, she does not depend on quickswap to be good like Chang-Li, but for those who have higher sequences, her damage increases significantly, so pairing her with another DPS character for quickswap can actually help you clear even the most difficult content in the game much more faster, and she's one of the easiest characters in the game to do quickswap with. If you're new here on the channel, welcome to another video that belongs to the character breakdown series where I build and test your favorite resonators for a god-awful amount of time to give you tips and tricks on how you can use them more effectively. In today's video, I'm going to be covering Zhezhi's pros and cons, the basics of her kit, advanced mechanics that you can abuse, proper team building, best build to play her with, and lastly, optimized rotations breakdown including hypercarry and quick swaps. As always, if this video proves helpful or enjoyable in any way, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon because it helps me out tremendously. I wasn't gonna add quick swap rotations to this video, but you know what, let's just do it. As you guys can see right here from this clip, her Painter's Delight stack was easily refreshed to 2 stacks after the second teleportation, which will make her third teleportation hit much harder. I think the main reason why they claim she's not good for quickswap is because of her passive skill, which grants you 18% attack in total if you complete all of her 3 teleportation attacks, and majority of players may think that she's bad with quickswap because her coordinated attacks will not benefit from the full 18% attack buff, but that's not entirely true. Zhezhi can quickly cast another liberation after Zhang Liao's full damage window, and those coordinated attacks will benefit from the full 18% attack buff that we now have from the 3 teleportation attacks in the first rotation, due to the passive's long duration of 27 seconds. So while the coordinated attacks in the first rotation may not benefit from the 18% attack buff, the coordinated attacks in the subsequent rotations takes full advantage of the attack buff. Take a look at this part right here. In the first rotation during Zhang Liao's damage window, the coordinated attacks were hitting about 4.6k damage, but after Zhezhi activated the second set of coordinated attacks, it was hitting around 4.9k damage. After the echo skill, it was now hitting for 5k damage, further proving my point that you can still make use of the 18% attack buff even in a quickswap team, further increasing your team's damage per second because of the no damage downtime between Zhezhi and Zhang Liao in a quickswap setup. More on this rotation at the optimized rotation section of this video. But before we proceed any further, I don't want you guys to think that Pridewin is intentionally trying to mislead you, because everybody makes mistakes, including myself. All I'm trying to do is to prevent players from getting the wrong impression about what Zhezhi is truly capable of. Now, I wouldn't be the guide maker that I am without showing you a more optimized rotations to solve Zhezhi's well-known problem, which is her long on-field time. So here is a quick hypercarry rotation showcase. You see this part right here? The Zhezhi intro started at 4 minutes 48 seconds, and she fully regenerated her concerto energy at exactly 4 minutes 44 seconds, which means she took only 4 seconds of fill time after her intro from Verena to fully fill her concerto energy. I'll break down how you can rotate like this consistently in the advanced mechanics section of this video. The part of Zhezhi's kit that makes her incredibly versatile is her Flourish passive skill that recovers 15 resonance energy instantly for any character that activates her outro skill. If you take a look at our current character roster, there are so many characters that rely on their liberation to do a decent portion of their overall damage, including Kukaracha, Zhang Liao, Changli, Lingyang, Carlotta, and Chisha. So while pairing Zhezhi with someone like Camouflage may not be the best team in terms of damage output, it helps you maintain consistency because you can easily use your liberation every rotation. And among the characters that we have, many of them actually scale off resonance skill damage like Jinshi, Carlotta, Changli, and Chisha. So having Zhezhi on your account guarantees a decent sub DPS option for these characters and future characters that will scale off resonance skill damage due to her outro skill that amplifies resonance skill damage by 25%. The fact that Zhezhi can cast her Forte skill 3 times does not only help her regenerate a lot of resonance energy, but also help the entire team because they gain a decent portion of that resonance energy that she gets from her Forte skills. Couple that with her energy regen passive and she essentially becomes a battery for your whole team. Her access to coordinated attacks also increases her pull value quite significantly. So in case you pull for any DPS character in the future that heavily depends on coordinated attacks to function properly, having Zhezhi on your account easily solves that problem. But like every character in the game, she has disadvantages as well, and the notable one is her long on-field time, but this will be resolved at the advanced mechanics section and team building section of this video. Now let's cover a brief basics of her kit. Zhezhi gains 40 stacks by doing basic attacks. The full sequence of her basic attacks will regenerate exactly half of her 40 stacks. So if you're playing her as an on-fielder, she will need 2 full sequences of her basic attacks to regenerate full 40 stacks. Using your resonance skill, when she has 2 or more 40 stacks, will summon the left and right phantasmic imprint. Pressing your basic attack right after the resonance skill will summon the middle phantasmic imprint. This is the most recommended way of summoning the middle phantasmic imprint because when you press your basic attack after the resonance skill cast, you gain some anti-interruption, so you do not have to waste time by dodging if there's an incoming non-lethal attack from the enemy. Once you have all your phantasmic imprints in place, just spam your resonance skill to teleport 3 times, which can also be done in midair, but the teleportation can take a bit of on-field time, so I'll show you guys how to rotate faster in the advanced mechanics section and team building section of this video. Now let's cover her team building. The most recommended healer for any team that you put Zhezhi in is going to be Verena because of her concerto efficiency, so she does not need the intro skill from your DPS character. That intro skill can be given to Zhezhi instead, which helps her recover exactly half of her 40 stacks. Couple that intro with the intro that you get from Verena, and your Zhezhi will never do basic attacks after the first rotation, which is the first step of reducing her on-field time. For DPS characters that she's synergized with, any DPS character that scales off resonance skill damage like Changli, Carlotta, Jinshi, and Chisha can work with her pretty nicely. Now let's cover her build. As a sub DPS, you can choose between Moonlit Clouds and Empyrean Anthem. The damage output between the 2 sets is not that significant according to my testing, so if you've been playing the game for a while and you've heavily invested in your damage dealers, go with Moonlit, but if you do not have that much investment in your DPS characters, go with Empyrean Anthem so that Zhezhi's personal damage can contribute to a decent portion of your team's overall damage. For on-field DPS Zhezhi, go with Freezing Frost, but for quick swaps, go with 2-piece Lingering Tunes and 2-piece Freezing Frost because you won't be doing basic attacks to proc the full buff that the Freezing Frost set provides. Stats should be double glacial damage bonus for all sets that I mentioned earlier, but if you have good stats on your attack 3 cost, be sure to use that one instead. For Empyrean Anthem, you can also go with 44111 by using Hecate and Nightmare Tempest Memphis as 4 cost if you're struggling to balance your crit stats. Never run Energy Regen on Zhezhi because, as I said earlier, her ability to use 3 skill cast helps her regenerate a lot of energy. For the weapons, if you don't have her signature weapon, the String Master will do just fine, But if you don't have that, go with Cosmic Ripples or Augment from the Battle Pass. But if you don't have that, the next best option is going to be the Fusion Accretion and Jinjo Keeper. Now let's move on to the advanced mechanics section of this video. We'll be focusing on how to reduce her on-field time as much as possible. Her 3 teleportation attacks can be dash cancelled or jump cancelled, but I prefer dash cancelling because jump cancelling can be really clunky sometimes. However, the game makes sure that dash cancelling will prevent you from fully recovering your concerto energy. As you can see here, we are left with a tiny portion to be filled, and we can't rely on dodges or doing basic attacks every time to recover the last portion of the concerto energy. So what we're going to do is to take advantage of Zhezhi's low skill cooldown by using her skill early on when the rotation begins, and we can use it again after her intro skill from Carlotta. That leaves us with the final ingredient for reducing her on-field time, which is her liberation. We can actually cancel her first teleportation attack with her liberation, and the damage will still register, as you can see here from the boss's decrease in health bar right after the liberation animation. The problem with this though is that it's difficult to apply this in a Jinshi team because of her very short on-field time, so she does not recover that much resonance energy for the whole team, making it difficult for Zhezhi to use this trick every rotation, but it works well in other hypercarry teams. We're going to apply all of these tricks in the rotations that I'm about to show you. First, let's begin with the Carlotta Hypercarry Rotation. Here's a simple graphical representation of what you need to do. We start with Verena's Liberation. Using it early on will help with resonance energy regeneration. Use her skill, swap to Zhezhi, use her skill to regenerate concerto energy, swap to Carlotta, use her skill twice but cancel the animation before she takes off by swapping to Zhezhi. Do full basic attacks, swap to Verena, do full basic attacks as well, echo skill, jump, basic attacks, intro with Zhezhi, press her skill, basic attack, skill, and use her liberation to cancel the first teleportation. Skill, dash, echo skill, and then intro with Carlotta. Press her skill twice and use her forte heavy attack. You can use her echo skill here before you cast her liberation, but I forgot to use mine, so don't be like me. Use her liberation, basic attack 5 times, use her skill twice, cast the echo skill, and then intro with Zhezhi. Use her skill, and then swap to Verena to repeat the whole process once again. Now let's cover her rotations with Jinshi. Here's a simple graphical representation. We first start with Verena's Liberation and use her skill. Swap to Zhezhi and use her Liberation. Use her skill, swap to Jinshi and do basic attacks until her forte skill becomes available. Use her skill, echo skill, do 3 basic attacks, liberation, and then use the Dragon Nuke skill. Intro with Zhezhi, use her skill, swap to Verena, complete her basic attack sequence, and use her skill, which should fully fill her concerto energy. Echo skill, intro with Zhezhi, skill, basic attack, skill, dash, dash again, echo skill, intro with Jinshi, skill, do 3 basic attacks, echo skill, and then cast her Dragon Nuke skill, intro with Zhezhi, and then rinse and repeat the rotation once again. For the quick swap rotation, here's a simple graphical representation. Use Verena's Liberation, cast her skill, swap to Zhezhi, use her Liberation, and perform her full basic attack sequence. Swap to Zhang Liao, use her skill for the electro damage bonus from his passive, use his echo skill, swap to Zhezhi, use her echo skill, swap to Verena, do full basic attacks, echo skill, jump and do basic attacks, intro with Zhezhi, cast her skill, basic attack, skill, and then swap to Zhang Liao. Use her skill again, cast his Liberation, fill full forte stacks, use his forte skill, but cancel the animation by swapping to Zhezhi and press her skill. Swap back to Zhang Liao, fill his full forte stacks again, use his forte skill, but cancel the animation by swapping to Zhezhi and press her skill. Now you should have full concerto energy on Zhezhi, so intro with Zhang Liao and fill another full forte stacks, use his forte skill, but now cancel the animation by performing an intro with Zhezhi. Use Zhezhi's Liberation, swap to Verena and perform her full basic attack sequence. Use her Liberation, skill, echo skill, jump, do basic attacks, and then intro with Zhezhi. You should now have full forte stacks on Zhezhi. Use your echo skill, but cancel the animation of the last hit if you're using Lumpy Lumen, and swap to Zhangli Yao to use his skill and echo skill. Swap back to Zhezhi, use your skill, basic attack, swap back to Zhangli Yao, and you should have full resonance energy by now. Use his liberation, and then rinse repeat the quick swap between Zhangli Yao and Zhezhi as we did before. If you have astrides to spare, I highly suggest that you pull for Zhezhi. If you do not currently have any coordinated attack sub DPS on your account, be sure to leave a like and subscribe because it helps me out tremendously. If YouTube gets this right, you should like this video that pops up on your screen, so be sure to give it a watch and join the Discord community. Link will be in the channel description. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.